Garcia, and welcome to today's podcast. We're going to be talking about some important issues and sensitive topics: aggression, mental illness, and whether people can be responsible for their actions. We will look at Bill's case to help us understand these complex issues. Along the way, we will learn what insanity means in the law and problematic decisions therapists may face when helping people like Bill. Our information comes from the book called Crimes and Mental Disorders and an interesting article titled Moral Responsibility and Mental Issues, a case study. So now let's look at the legal standards related to insanity. 4 main tests to help decide if a person can be held responsible for a crime if they have a mental illness. 1. McNabb Rule. Right-wrong test. This rule says if a person has mental illness that affects their understanding of their actions or whether they know of their actions are wrong, they may not be held responsible for a crime. If Bill did not know what he was doing was terrible because of his mental condition, this rule could apply. Number 2, Ali Barrow Rule, Substantial Capacity Test. This standard suggests that if a person cannot understand that their actions are wrong or cannot control their behavior because of mental illness, they may not be held responsible. This could be Bill's case if he knew his actions were wrong but cannot stop himself. Number 3, Durham Rule, Product Test. If a mental illness directly caused someone to commit a crime, they may not be responsible. If Bill's actions were directly results of his mental illness, such as experiencing hallucination, or could be significant. This rule could be significant. Guilty but mentally ill, GBMI. This means a person could be found guilty but also recognized as having a mental illness. They could face punishment for their actions but also can get treatment during their sentence. If Bill knew what he was doing was wrong but struggled with mental illness, this might be the correct category for him. Each of these standards can show different parts of Bill's mental state during his actions, creating a complex decision about responsibility and mental health. If I were a therapist working with Bill, I will feel 2 strong emotions. First, I will have a deep empathy. Mental illness is complicated, and I would want to understand what Bill is going through. Many people with mental illness have little control over their actions, so I would focus on offering support and care. At the same time, I will feel genuinely concerned. Mental health problems can lead to harmful behaviors, and it's essentially make sure Bill gets he needs to avoid hurting himself or others in the future. His safety and ability to make others better choices would greatly concern me. I strongly believe in the importance of treatment. With proper support, there is hope for improvement. Having a mental illness does not take away from the person's value. Recovery is possible with good help. However, accountability is also important. Bill needs to understand the consequences of his actions and take responsibility. but we must recognize his mental health issues as well. I know from a personal experience, my father-in-law was diagnosed with schizophrenia when he was in his late 40s. He recently passed, but when he was in the care of the facilities, some doctors said that he didn't have schizophrenia. It was another form of mental illness, and it wasn't quite diagnosed because of his dementia. They couldn't tell or pointed out the exact mental illness he had. But they also say he was bipolar and other stuff. And a lot of things he went through and did throughout his life with his family. Once he got the treatment at the last few years before passing, he made different choices, and he recognized that what he did was not okay. And well, from a Christian perspective, my approach towards Bill would be based on grace and forgiveness. Everyone deserves a chance to improve, and I would focus on being patient, understanding. Bill must know that his actions do not define him, and that healing and change is possible. To conclude this podcast, let's discuss the key concerns raised by the experts on this topic. The risk of lowering responsibility for those with mental illness, especially related to guilty but mentally ill laws. There is a real worry that being too sympathetic in the legal system might be intentionally encourage bad behavior, increase stigma, and or lead to insufficient mental health care. We should bring up awareness in mental health, especially for the young kids. When they're going through these episodes, working in a school, I see that a lot of people, especially admin at the schools, make it okay for children to start patterns of bad behaviors. And it does increase as they get older. But thank you for joining me today. We'll see you soon.